Легенды Ночных Стражей.
In the ancient Perok monastery, hidden away from the cycles of strife and conflict, the Glauxian monks honored the owl god Glaux through study and quiet contemplation. Since the war against Surtur and his pure ones many years ago, the monks have maintained a constant vigil across the land, forever watching for anything that may threaten their life of peace and tranquility. On this day, it was the job of a young acolyte named Gratia to take his place at the lookout post. As Gratia kept watch, an unsettling feeling began to well inside his gizzard. He could sense something was wrong. Suddenly, without warning or sound, the hag's fiends attacked. The hideous creatures stormed into the monastery, ruthlessly eliminating every soul in their path. With the cries of his brethren echoing through the hollows, Gratia tried valiantly to save them. But it was too late. The monastery was lost. Managing to escape, Gratia was plagued with feelings of guilt and confusion. How could he have missed the invaders? Rumors began to spread about his negligence, with many branding him a coward and a traitor. Unable to bear the shame, Gratia isolated himself from the world, wandering alone in search for some inner peace. Finding a second chance at life and a means to move forward from his past, Gratia stopped his solitary wandering to settle down and start a family with his mate, Lyja. Unfortunately, this time of joy was to be short-lived. On a fateful night, as Gratia and Lyja's firstborn emerged from its egg, a group of vicious owls raided their hollow, and the two parents fell before them. Only the timely arrival of a guardian Chaw prevented the hatchling from sharing their fate. The guardians swiftly carried the hatchling to the safety of the Gaul tree, and affectionately named him Shard, due to a piece of eggshell they found clinging to his downy coat. Many moons later, Shard studied hard to become a guardian himself. But Gratia's legacy, however, had left a stain upon his son. A chance to redeem the family's honor arrived during Shard's final year of training.
Shard! Are you even listening?
Huh?
Night dreaming again, are we?
Just as useless as his father.
Enough! Stop it, the two of you. Shameful. Not that I should be surprised. The way discipline has been allowed to slide around here in recent years.
For once, Alamir, it seems we are in agreement. However hateful the speech, a guardian never answers words with talons.
Yes, Ezelwib.
Meet me in my hollow after class to be assigned your flint mops.
Pardon me, Ezelrib, but he is my student.
Certainly. But you've been rather harried lately with all the duties expected from you, whereas I seem to have nothing but time on my talons these days. See you there, Shard. Don't keep me waiting. It's time to light those torches. I've even brought in the Gaul fire carriers to help you with this flint mob. So hop to it.
Ezelrib, the rescue Chaw found a band of owlets approaching the tree, but some crows have blocked the way. We've got to get them through somehow.
Shard, there's a change of plans. I need you to head out and clear the crows so the Chaw can get through. Parzival will accompany you if you need any help.
What? No, not him.
This is no time to get choosy about wingmen. Get going.
Huh, you did better than I thought. Didn't get us killed, at least.
We all soon learned the owlets we'd saved were no ordinary owlets. They had traveled a long time, and Soren, the barn owl, who spoke for the group, told the Parliament a harrowing tale of desperation. It claimed they had been abducted by the Pure Ones, the same Pure Ones that I had fought so long ago. They took them with countless others to a grim place known as the St. Aegiolius, home for orphaned owls, where they were put to work picking through discarded pellets, searching for tiny metallic bits they called flecks. For what purpose? It is not yet known. Alomir doubted the young owlets.
So if I'm to understand this correctly, the Pure Ones have risen from the dead, are building a slave army of moon-blinked owlets, and are planning to conquer the world with magical pellet debris.
I was quick to defend the integrity of these owlets. I knew in my gizzard what they spoke was true. There was no dishonesty in Soren, no deception. Nothing but an earnest, sublime heart. It was then our King Boran spoke. He decreed that Alomir would seek out St. Aegiolius and discover if the Pure Ones had truly returned. The Parliament was adjourned and Alomir set out on his task. I, however, had other plans. For a violation of the peace so blatant, so powerful, how could any owl sit idly by? Immediate action would be needed. Height of foolishness not to act more decisively now that we have proof. Good of you both to come so quickly. We need to prepare and we haven't a moment to waste.
Sir, prepare for what?
Why, your departure on your missions, of course.
But we can't go on missions. We're not even full guardians yet.
Just what do you think all those flint mops were? I was testing you the whole time. And you passed, with flying colors. You stick close to Shard and follow his lead.
Me? Follow him?
But Alomir and his jaw are already searching. Why send us?
It's simple, really. I trust you, and that's the key. You both have the gizzard for the job. I know you'll do the tree proud. Dry as a bone, and swathed in scorching heat, vast Kunia bakes neath the sun's constant beat. Is it possible for living things to abound, where rarely a drop or shade is found? In rocky nooks, they can and do. And under scrub-clutching morning dew, and when the breeze cools the land at night, multitudes crawl, or with wings take flight. Excerpt from a gazetteer of the Owl Kingdoms by Lies of Kiel. Soren mentioned that bats were working with the Pure Ones. In the desert of Kunir, an eagle named Streak has been investigating rumors that bats may be involved in the disappearance of owlets in the area. Unfortunately, Streak himself has also now gone missing. Go into the desert and find out what has happened to him.
You have my eternal gratitude, friends. My mate is away, and I was foolishly patrolling on my own when these so-called Pure Ones attacked me.
I'm Shard, and this is Parzival. Ezorib sent us to see if the stories about owlets missing were true.
Unfortunately, yes. The Pure Ones are involved, and so are those vicious night creatures, the bats. As payment for their loyalty, the Pure Ones have been giving any non-Taito owlets they find to the bats. The owlets are being kept in their secret hideout, somewhere in Kunir. There are, however, bat sanctuaries in the area. Perhaps we can get some information out of the bats located there.
Don't let them escape.
The Pure Ones and bats are working together even more closely than I thought. They must be harboring owlets within the bat hideout. We must find a way to rescue them. Although we found the bat hideout, some bats are still sneaking owlets through the canyons. You'll need to get in there and rescue them. It seems quite clear that this will not stop unless we take the fight directly to the bats. Shall we? We must find a way to force the bats out of hiding. It would be foolish to fly in there with all of them inside.
So then, we need to find a way to get them out into the open.
I'll wager a few well-placed hot coals should do the trick.
Aha! Let's get to it then. Our rescue of the owlets in the canyons was just the beginning. We need to rescue the owlets kept in the bat hideout. Well, we flushed out those bats, all right, but we didn't account for their chieftain. We're gonna need to take him out, or those captive owlets are done for.
With the bats defeated, Shard and his comrades freed a prisoner due to be drained. He was a curious soul, a wandering hermit named Uriah, who had sought solitary meditation in the desert. He confirmed what they suspected, that the bats were collaborating closely with the owls that called themselves the Pure Ones. He pointed out to them the curious metallic bits the bats referred to as flecks, which the Pure Ones coveted. Then Uriah looked directly at Shard and said,
"You know, lad, you're the very image of an owl I met on a visit to Perrock when I was scarcely out of the egg. An upright owl he was, yeah, noble of bearing, and with an aura of the valiant about him. His name was Grettir."
and as that sank in, he added,
"I thank you for my life, and now I wish to be one of consequence. I would be your wingman in this struggle, if you'll have me in my current state."
And so they all returned to the Gahul tree to make Uriah well and to share what they had learned. An ancient forest home to that feathered race, the many proud owls of the heart-shaped face, Albus, Sooties, and of course, the masked, Tytos all, in case you asked, roost in the hollows of these verdant towers, cozy shelters amidst the leafy bowers. Game is here aplenty, but fearsome predators too. To live and let live is so often hard to do. Excerpt from a gazetteer of the Owl Kingdoms by Lies of Keel.
This forest is just so vast. How are we ever supposed to... Wait a second. See those owls? They look like they could be Pure Ones. We have to hide ourselves before they spot us.
No, I have a better idea. Let's follow them.
Are you mad? We're completely outnumbered. There's no way we can take on these Pure Ones by ourselves.
It won't come to that if we're careful. We might discover some valuable information, and in any event, Izalrit put me in charge.
But I have a bad feeling about this.
Soren said that his home in Tyto was destroyed, but something must remain of the forest. Search what remains of Tyto Forest for evidence of the Pure Ones. Gather information and see what you can discover. I'm betting that the locals might have some insight into what they're up to.
Look! There's a bunch of Tytos locked up over there.
See? It was worth it. There's a reason why Izalrit put me in charge.
You got lucky this time.
There's no escape now, Guardians!
Good on ya, I'm Bryony. Glad you came along when you did. That was a bit of all-right flying back there, sport.
The name's Shard.
Right, you hail from the What's-It tree, do you?
Gahul. Yes, we do.
Nice, nice. Well, sport, welcome to the Resistance. We'd love to have you come along and lend a talon if you could. As you can see, it's been getting a bit hairy round here of late. Let's get those owlets out of here! Quick! Protect the carrier team and guide them safely to the new headquarters. That's it. Mission accomplished. We've gotten everyone out. Well done, sport. Some of our new allies have found themselves lost within the storm. We've set up some torches to help guide them towards the Resistance headquarters. Counting on you to light them, sport. We've put out a call to our fellow Tytos to join the Resistance. The Pure Ones may have struck a blow, but many want to save what's left of our home. They're going to need some help, though, finding our new headquarters. Looks like they've all made it. Well done, but don't tuck yourself into your hollow just yet. The storm may be letting up, but we got bigger trouble than a few raindrops coming our way. The Pure Ones have been setting fires all around Tyto Forest in the hopes of completely eradicating the Resistance. We've assembled a team to put out these fires, but they will need protecting. Destroying the Pure One's fortification is our only chance for peace in Tyto. I'll need you to go in with the fire carriers to take out their defenses. Only then will we be able to get in and take down their fort.
Too exhausted to follow, and with too many wounded to tend to, Shard and Bryony felt it best to let the surviving Pure Ones flee to parts unknown. They'd been given a sound thrashing, and would not be back soon. Bryony bid Shard a sincere thanks for his efforts, and before he left, she also gave him a friendly word of warning.
You know, sport, when the Pure Ones was holding me prisoner, I heard tell of someone they called the Guardian. Seems this bloke's been feeding them info from up in that tree of yours. I'd best be watching me tail feathers, if I was you.
Shard then flew the long journey back to the island of Hool. The whole way, his heart hung heavy with this disturbing report. Past the ice narrows and the Everwinter Sea, amongst blue-white bergs gleaming brilliantly, lies a frigid land of warriors brave, shedding senseless blood on frozen wave. Others, choosing a life of contemplation, seek wisdom in the icy desolation. Northern contrasts are stunning and sharp, like black razor talons plucking a silver harp. Excerpt from a gazetteer of the Owl Kingdoms, by Lies of Keel.
I think I see the Gloxian Brotherhood retreat up there in the distance. I'll be glad to get out of this freezing wind. You know, my ancestor, Strix Caroldo, once stayed aloft through an entire night and a day flying from Keel Bay to the Ice Talons.
Too bad she's not here. We'd have more flying and less jabbering.
Are you trying to say I'm holding us up? I reckon I could reach the retreat before you, if I had a mind to.
Is that a challenge? Well, if you promise to remain quiet the rest of the way, you're on.
The Pure Ones are going to extreme lengths to collect these little metallic bits called flecks. But why? Our ignorance is our weakness. Perhaps the Glauxian Brotherhood in the north might shed some light on the situation.
I knew you were good, but I didn't know you were that good.
And you're still talking. Now, let's see what we can find out about Flex.
Upon arrival at the Glauxian Brotherhood retreat, Shard's hopes were dashed to discover what he sought was not to be found there.
Knowledge of these flecks was lost when Perrock fell.
But as Shard turned, ready to depart the retreat, the monk took pause, then continued.
There is, however, an elderly hermit named Cormac, who dwells in some old ruins not far from here. He once studied at Perrock and might be convinced to help you. But be watchful. A group of monks went to visit him weeks ago, and when they did not return, a few of our younger brethren left to investigate. Neither group has been heard from, and high winds at this time of the year have hampered our search efforts.
Shard pledged to do all he could.
Cormac's young brethren may be in trouble. I'll need you to travel to the ruins and check on their situation. But be heedful, young guardian. Look out for anything that may seem suspicious.
The Hag's fiends will make short work of them.
The bats have brought with them unwelcome guests. Dispose of the intruders.
What in Glaux's name were those horrid things?
I don't know, but they definitely took pleasure in trying to hurt us. We should keep moving. There may be more of them around. That old owl! He looks injured!
Don't worry about me. It's the young monks that need your help. The Hag's fiends are taking them back to what used to be my home. I just escaped from there.
You must be Cormac. What exactly are Hag's fiends?
Hideous crossbreeds of owls and crows, or so we believe. But that's not important right now. Please, you have to rescue them. It appears the situation is far worse than we had thought. I can barely believe it, but these creatures may be the Hag's fiends returned. I fear that Cormac and our brethren are in their clutches. Find them and rescue them, young guardian. It's been ages since I've seen such selfless bravery. Perhaps we can save the rest. You see? Take heed of those tall pillars, for they contain large concentrations of flex. They'll confound your gizzards if you get too close. That's what's keeping the monks grounded. We have to bring down the pillars to set them free. The Hag's fiends have been taking monks to mine in their Fleck facility. The time for peace has passed. We must rescue them. We need to get into the facility and take down those Fleck pillars. Only then will my brethren be free. Fly, my friends! You are free! We must leave this place before more Hag's fiends come! Friends, I do not like the look of that fog coming in. You may have rescued my brethren, but unless the Hag's Fiend Queen is defeated, the abductions will continue, and you can bet their next target will be the retreat itself. I would not have believed that victory had I not seen it with my own two eyes. I suppose by now I shouldn't be surprised. Come! Let us help the wounded back to the Brotherhood.
Back at the retreat, there was much to discuss. Bats and Hag's fiends working together, with Flex in the midst of it all. The breadth of the Pure One's plans was broad indeed. Just then, the old hermit Cormac approached.
That was a fine bit of flying you did today, Shard. Your father would have been proud.
When the shock had worn off the young owl's face, he continued.
Yes, I was there with him at Perrock. Don't believe the lies. He was vigilant and he fought bravely. But the flex the Hag's fiends carry can confound any owl's gizzard, as you'll see. We surmised it was an unknown trader who let the Hag's fiends in and gave them the flex. But Grettir never forgave himself. He discarded his battle claws here at this monastery, vowing never to take them up again. I attempted to follow his peaceful example, even opening a dialogue with the hags fiends who dwell in the frigid region. But there is a greater tide of evil at work, and my efforts failed. It would seem the time for your father's idealism has not yet arrived.
Cormac produced a tarnished but magnificent set of battle claws.
Here, these were his. Take them, and use them to restore the peace.
While Shard and his small band were returning from their travels, it was then that Alomir returned to the tree. It appeared his mission had been a success, although it was more dire than even I had expected. Within his talons, he carried a moon-blinked owlet, a title, young Soren's sister Eglantine. Alomir told a tale of pure one treachery. His wingmen had not survived the attack, but Alomir had escaped and had been able to wrestle this young owlet from the pure ones before he did. Suddenly, with the treachery of the pure ones confirmed, the Parliament, before unconvinced of Soren's story, called all the Guardians to battle. I feared we did not know enough of the Pure One's plot, but my duty called me to stand beside my fellow Guardians and right yet another wrong. When Shard returned, he discovered that all the Guardians had taken up arms. And there, within my hollow, a note from me left him with a fateful choice. Dear Shard, it has come to this. War. The other Guardians and I have rushed into the heart of the darkness to make our stand against this Pure One threat. My gizzard stirs. I do not know what we will find there, and I fear for the worst. There is no doubt that we will need you and the knowledge you have gained from your journeys. Join us when you are ready, for we'll need every battle claw we can muster. Shard felt frustrated at being left behind, and he became doubly so when he saw Soren and his comrades flying off to find the Guardians. Following them seemed the only option. And so it was they found themselves headed towards that baleful land of rocky spires, known as the Beaks.
As we've journeyed through the kingdoms, you have continued to prove your mettle as a guardian again and again. The battle in the Beaks will truly test us, Shard. I will proudly fight by your side, my friend. What's that up ahead?
I don't know. Could be a fortress. Let's fly closer to get a better look.
Shard! Bats! They're everywhere! I'm starting to feel strange.
I'm sorry, Parzival. I ran you headlong into that trap. Guess I was fooling myself. I'm not much of a leader.
Nonsense. You made sure I got out of it alive. That's what a leader does. Come on, let's find the Guardians.
The trap was sprung. The Pure Ones had made a weapon of their collected flex. With our gizzards confounded by the device, we could no longer fly and plummeted to the ground. I saw a figure suddenly descend from the sky, coals glowing brightly from his talons. Soren, the young owlet, soared down onto the trap's wedge. The coals hit their target, and wood and rope burned. I saw Shard and his band following close behind. They had cleared Soren's way, and we were once again free. Shard, glad to have you back. But there's no time for lengthy reunions, I'm afraid. We need to take out the Pure One's defenses to open the Stone Palace. Do it any way you can, but hurry, or our Chaws will never make it through.
Now that Soren has taken down the Fleck Trap, we can get in and take out the Pure One defenses. This will allow the Guardians to reach the Stone Palace. They're counting on us to do our part.
Alomir? A traitor filthier than rat traps.
Oh, such untoward speech. Retier would not be proud.
What do you know about my father?
Oh, we were well acquainted at Perrock. Surprised? I thought with all of your snooping you would have guessed by now.
You murdered them all. My father! My mother!
In any event, the Pure Ones will soon emerge victorious, and Grettir's bloodline will be silenced forever, just as he was.
I need to find Alomir. I have to...
Forget him for now. See that signal tower? Take out a few of its supports, and it'll topple to shore. Then the Pure Ones will have minimal reinforcements entering the battlefield.
Alomir must be brought to justice, but our duty as Guardians must come first. We need as minimal resistance from the Pure Ones as possible, and destroying that signal tower will ensure this. Good luck, Shard.
Good job, but the Pure Ones are putting up an unexpectedly stiff defense. If only we could slow them down somehow.
Is there a way to destroy the palace from the inside?
Aha! Their forge, of course. Destroying their furnace should be enough to rock the palace foundations. They won't be able to arm themselves. Hurry.
This is it, Shard. Make your way to the Pure One's forge and find a way to destroy it. Winning this battle will depend heavily on your success. The Pure Ones have been weakened, but Alomir, however, will not surrender peacefully. He must be stopped before more innocent lives are lost.
You!
Alomir!
You will not escape from here! Can't you see, Shard? The Pure Ones will win this war!
Never.
Shard, are you all right?
Alomir is dead. Justice has been served. I used to think honor and justice were ideals worth fighting for. But they didn't bring me peace.
Ah, but they are worth fighting for. But only for what they give, for what they protect.
Like truth and fellowship.
Spoken like a true guardian.
So that's it? The Pure Ones are gone?
Defeated, perhaps, but not gone. It's more than we can hope that such intolerance will stay buried forever. The owlets of St. Ejolius still await us. Let's go, Guardian. We are the eyes of the night, the silence within the wind. We are the talons through the fire, the shield that guards the innocent. We shall defend the meek and vanquish the evil. We are the guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Or, no, they're crows.
Some are crows and some are bats.
Ah. What, are the crows and the bats working together?
They're all part of the Pure Ones.
Oh, the crows and the bats.
Yeah, they're... Think of them as minions.
Oh, of the Pure Ones?
Oh, the Pure Ones, yeah.
Oh.
They're basically the minions. They're having them kidnap the baby birds to put in the labor camps to harvest their stones for them.
Oh, I thought they were kidnapping the baby owls to brainwash them too.
That too, but they put some in the mines. That's where Soren ended up as.
What, as a baby?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There's a story where they say that he saved the baby owl. He ended up going one of those labor camps.
Oh.
Soren did. And he escaped with 3 other owls. Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, aren't the pure ones just more owls?
Yeah.
That just broke away?
They broke away from the Guardian
As
group.
payment for their loyalty, the pure ones have been giving any non-Taito owlets they find to the bats. The owlets are being kept in their secret hideout, somewhere in Kunir. There are, however, bat sanctuaries in the area. Perhaps we can get some information out of the bats located there.
So now they're giving the owlets to the bats, though?
The ones that they deem not usable for their soldiers. I remember in the prison, if an owlet is too weak or anything like that, they do end up going to the bats as food.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was fast.
That's kind of like their trade-off. The bats go get the babies for them.
And
in return, they do give them a portion of the babies to eat.
Why don't the
do whatever they want with them?
Why don't the bats just break off on their own if they're the ones getting the babies anyways?
Oh.
Because
they just obey the pure ones they have that kind of weird agreement.
Even though they're the ones getting the babies, so they could just go get the babies and then have all the baby owls for themselves.
Mm.
Like, that would make sense. Okay, see, when you're on rails in this game, though, it's actually it's not too bad. It's just a standard flying game at that point. But I'm pretty sure we're about to break off.
The bats won't freely lead us.
When I saw the commercial for the movie, I was like, no way. They're actually making the book series I read as a child into a movie,
Man, that's insane.
15-something years later.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't realize the books were that old, and they waited that long.
I'm sure they've gotten through, several remakes like the Rats of Nim have, but
they must have known we were coming.
Didn't the Rats of Nim only have like 2 movies?
Mm-hmm.
One of which wasn't that good. Oh wait, that's because it completely lacked the emotion that the first one did. It's like I didn't hate it at first, but I could see the problems. But I mean, this wouldn't be the only time that they waited forever to make a book series into a movie.
It was a long time. I never thought I would ever see this
series. I don't know how long they waited for Secret of Nim.
I don't know how popular this book series was. As far as I know, in my elementary school, I was probably the only kid reading these. Years later.
See, for me, I didn't even, like I said, I didn't know about the books or any of that stuff. So, when I was at a date for another movie, like many a year ago, I saw the poster for this and thought it looked pretty cool. And I was right.
It is a good book series for kids.
Yeah, and
it's not that scary, but it, to me, it was good.
And it seems like
because the only book stories I read back then was anything involving animals.
And it seemed like the movie adaptation, though, is actually, a fair, like it's
following the story fairly good.
Because, I mean, okay.
We did skip some things, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's...
As I said, they just skipped the fluff.
Yeah, but I mean, you said they also combined the first 2 books into the first movie?
They get the first book and then little bits and parts of the second book.
See, that's part of the reason why I hated the second Maze Runner film, is they pulled that shit.
Which I do understand they're trying to crunch, because the first book is mostly a lot of prologue, and he taught, and he you go through the journey of him being captured, and then he meets the other prison, and then learns the prison rules, and then he gets acclimated and meets all these other people who tell stories of one day they will be freed by the Guardians, and then Soren's like, what's the Guardians? And then you go on that whole
Yeah, but
side note.
Yeah, but in all fairness, if they're trying to trim down some of the fat and all that, just because they think people might find it boring and all that, hell, just go watch the first Lord of the Rings film. That's like 3 hours of, like, they probably could have cut at least a third of that.
As I said, they just shaved off a lot of the fluff. Because I said the prison was a big thing for Soren.
Hell, why don't they
were mistreating him and stuff like that, so him and a bunch of other ones pretty much stave basically I equivalent to like a jail riot where everything went to shit, and during the chaos he escaped with the 3 other baby owls.
Just point me to a target.
One of them being a spotted owl and the other one being a baby barn owl just like him.
Yeah.
I said that almost acclimated an entire book by itself. Wow, so now they kind of forgot how to fight them, and Soren tells them about the thing that they were mining, and they were trying to counteract how you counteract
even though you
Fleck, basically, which I attribute that to basically Runestone.
Even though you would think they would constantly be in training for something like this.
No, they're not. They kind of just sit at the tree and just wait for danger.
Because of course.
To come by. And then once danger is spotted, then, then they act.
Then we go into...
But they had no idea how bad the kidnapping got. To where they were not only taking baby owls, I think for a brief period they were actually taking the eggs, to hatch for themselves and turn them into the brainwashed ones.
Oh,
that was under the control of the Fleck.
With that whole moon blinking business?
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of which, that's what someone who I was friends with told me, that he said that parents actually got pissed off with the moon blinking.
Why?
Hell if I know. But I found that funny. Like, they got pissed off at... Like, he told me what they got pissed off about, and then I saw the film, but I kind of forgot what he had said, so I asked him again, and he's like, it was the moon blinking, and I'm like, really? Like, really? That makes no sense.
It's their way of controlling their brains, infusing them with a Fleck.
Yeah. Now I get what they're doing. The Fleck is the be-all, end-all for the pure ones.
Yep. That's their material, and the Guardians have the Firestones, which is basically coal and flint. Is their source of power.
Yeah. Yeah, coal is their source of power.
Coal and flint, they basically use fire.
Magical ruins,
coals and stuff.
Magical ruins make more sense.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this is our power. This right here, it's this hot flaming coal.
I forget which of the original Guardian Owls ends up being the villain. But I do remember he was an ex-Guardian at one point.
Oh.
That I do remember.
What?
Battle armor.
What, that an owl joins one of the pure ones?
No, one of the Guardians is already a pure one.
Oh.
Hence the first attack.
Oh, working from
I think it was the wise owl, I think. The old one. The oldest one.
Oh, when he was working from the inside.
I believe he's basically the leader of the pure ones, but the Guardians don't know it was an inside job. At least that's what I remember.
Well, they suck if you kept it secret.
I need to go back and read these books again.
Yeah, that would be useful.
So the Guardians were basically, they're none too bright because they got too comfortable because for a long time nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
So they kind of got all cozy and whatnot.
And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what the...
That's why the surprise attack was so devastating, because they never saw it coming. And they had gotten way too comfortable.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what the pure ones were waiting for.
Well, actually, they got too fat on their perch, and so that attack was the most devastating.
Yeah, and then I bet it taught them don't get cozy ever again.
I believe in the books, all the Guardians are going through training. Training and or rescue missions to bring back the baby owlets, that as many as they can rescue, and they bring them back to the tree. They don't reunite them with their parents or anything.
No. No, why would they?
They bring them all back to the tree. And they start training the survivors to become more guardians, basically.
That's because
for the, the be-all, end-all war between, the brainwashed owls and regular owls.
Well, yeah, eventually it's going to lead to that. And I'm sure that happened in the books, huh?
Yeah. I believe one of Soren's friends dies during that war.
Oh.
Before the war or something. I do remember he does lose one of his friends.
But yeah,
I don't remember which one.
Let's not take the owlets back to their,
I think it was,
Hurry.
I'm just squeezing the owlet to death in my claws.
Squeeze.
I see another thief in the canyons.
Oh, see, here I thought I was going to throw it in the nest.
Just chuck it. Yeah, that would have been funny if you could buck it in the nest.
That would have been, but... Oh, I guess that bar's for your barrel roll, then?
Yeah, so you waste it. It's basically, I guess, you're equivalent to your stamina bar.
Yeah, of course that had to be an achievement.
Don't let them knock the owlet from your grasp.
Well, since I can't defend myself... Well,
you can do barrel rolls.
That's apparently all I can do. No, I can't defend myself, though, even though I have a perfectly good talon free.
Bats.
Yeah, so many fucking bats.
Eagle! Come on! Ah! Down they go.
It seems quite clear that
Just a random tiny nest in the middle of a canyon.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Like, that makes perfect sense. Not exactly the safest place.
We must keep them away from this bit.
Just defeat them like
For
always.
context, I just think, you have to keep them away from the nest.
You mean the nest in the one tree that's out in the middle of nowhere?
Yes.
No, that'll be perfect.
In the book, they don't bring the babies back to the nest because they know they're gonna get re-kidnapped. They bring them to the tree.
They bring them to the guardian tree.
Yeah.
Instead of their nest out in the middle of nowhere.
As far as I know, most of the birds, they were evacuating the families to the tree.
How did the owls build the cages?
They're owls, okay? They're very, they're natural architects, okay?
Totally. They don't have the fucking hands to do it.
They can braid rope and,
With their talons, they could braid rope.
Yeah.
That makes no fucking sense.
Well, have you ever seen an owl hockey puck a hot coal into something?
No.
I don't think so.
Probably because they have metal on their... Yeah, how did they make the metal...
I don't think real life owls know how to use fire, because if they did, we'd all be dead.
No.
Okay. We just have owls raining down fiery death on us.
Yeah, and they're going to do it at the time you're sleeping, too, so you won't have a chance.
You won't see it coming.
But, no, they have,
and the deers are going to have machine guns, Nature's going to be like, fuck you, bitches! We're not gonna die.
Well, if they give that giant middle finger to all the hunters, I'd be okay with it.
Bears are gonna ride humans into the fray.
Terrible. But it's like, see, they have the metal talons
That's
attached.
what I imagine my apocalypse is gonna be.
What, bears?
Bears riding humans, deers with machine guns, owls with fireballs.
Right.
Well, no, it's only that's only the apocalypse for all the people who hunt them.
Nice. Well, sport, welcome to
Because
the
they're gonna use things that we can't fight back against.
As you can see,
the same way we do.
Hairy around here of late.
Hot fiery death.
Pretty much.
So clearing them out of Tydo.
Wonderful. They're purposely finding a way to make this longer than it needs to be. Because it takes 2 pieces of coal to destroy a catapult, but then you can only carry 2 pieces at a time. That means you're going to have to make like 5 trips. And now you got to worry about the catapults hitting you. And you also got... Yeah. No, but we have a guy carrying around things of fire. That we could somehow pick up. I mean, I guess we can pick them up because we have metal talons. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah. I basically equivalent the talents to swords, basically.
And yet he somehow still becomes a guardian, though?
Yeah. Or his actions. Even though he did pull some unorthodox actions, like he did disobey orders and stuff like that, but he did it out of passion of the heart. So.
Oh, so that's perfectly acceptable then.
Yeah.
See what the leader of the Pure Ones is doing? No, that's not acceptable because he didn't do it out of passion of the heart. He did it out of
I think he was basically, ill-minded, and he basically led a path of more violence and bloodshed.
Yeah, but he could just... So if he just tells him, though, it was a passion of the heart, then all is forgiven.
No.
Isn't that how it works?
No.
Because Soren disobeyed.
Because he didn't have a pure heart. Soren has a pure heart.
So he could just tell them it was
a pure heart and a pure soul.
It was a passion of the heart.
Shut up.
Oh, you...
I think one of the other ones took a hit for that.
Yeah. That's how it works, right? But you could you just go kill them and then go, but hey, I'm forgiven, right? Because it was a passion of the heart.
Oh my god, no.
The only difference between elites and regulars is just the armor.
Bringing it down.
And targeting the ropes that they somehow were able to put there.
The hell?
Yeah, so they could just weave rope. Makes sense. None of this makes sense. There we go. I like how 3 ropes were the only things holding that up.
Yeah, we're owls, like...
We just cut the ropes and it blew up.
Tydo Forest is free once again.
What the hell?
Thanks for all your help.
We cut the ropes and it caused it to not tip, but to explode. Who are the Hax Fiends? Are those the Ravens?
The Ravens.
Ah.
The Raven Crows, whatever.
To mine vast amounts of fleck. So now we have to go free these.
So now they're force mining fleck and bulk now.
The pure ones are going to extreme.
And now we're gonna race.
You're gonna race.
Because we need to, apparently.
I guess this is your moment of fun.
me, son?
Moment of pointlessness. And fly through the rings.
Go faster.
I'm going as yeah, just go faster. That's how it works. You know, at least they made this only one part of the game at this point. They didn't make the whole game around it like some other things. You know, it's not Superman 64 where the fucking shit's nothing but rings. Because the Superman ring stages, they're not even hard. They're just... They're mind-numbingly awful. Because I've played a little bit of that. It's not fun. I've done about 3 sections worth of ring stages. I can't figure out one of the later ones, but I did... Like, the rings are fine. Those aren't hard. Like
you might want to go faster. That is falling. That is falling.
Yes, I see that. The problem is I don't want to go too fast, otherwise I miss a ring. Like I said, I think that's the name of the game here, is just getting rings. And then what's the next stage? More rings.
Rings on fire.
Yeah, we'll light them on fire next. And then we'll have them moving, and then they'll be on fire and moving. So here's a question. Could bats survive in the Arctic?
Technically, no.
So in real-world logic, I've probably poked about 50 holes into this whole thing.
Just play on the fantasy.
It's like, shut up. Just live in the
It's
fantasy.
like people who poke 1,000 holes in the Star Wars plotline.
Well, what holes are they looking to poke?
I think the movie, the Kylo Ren one, you got a lot of holes poked on that one.
Why is that?
I don't know. Go read the fucking article then. I believe that's a YouTube video too.
What? About all the plot holes in the new
10 plot holes in the Kylo Ren.
Oh, in Last Jedi?
Yeah.
I mean... People seemingly don't like Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Probably because he is no Darth Vader. Okay, I can do the strong attacks on these guys. Don't know why it stuns me on the Hags Fiends.
Because the Hags Fiends are... I think they're vultures, not crows.
Still doesn't explain...
They're armored vultures.
Oh. Well, still doesn't explain to me how my strong attack can, not work on them. Damn it, come on. So I have to defeat the Hags Fiends, though, huh?
Yep.
And I thought the bats were done fucking with us, though, but I guess not.
I think they'll still harvest the fleck for the pure ones, but they won't mess with the Guardian. Unless they're instructed to, which they are.
Because normally, normally they'd probably leave us alone now at this point, huh? Because they know we're gonna fucking kill them if they don't.
And rescue them.
So now the Hags Fiends have returned.
Yep.
Everything we thought wouldn't come back.
Ancient enemies of legend. Yeah.
Yeah, everything we thought that wouldn't come back did come back because we suck at what we do, obviously. Clearly we suck at what we do.
We didn't foresee this.
No, clearly!
We thought, you know...
Because we're cocky and arrogant.
Well, since the fall of the last one, you know.
They will have a terrible...
So you have to defeat the entire entourage and then free the son of a bitch. And you have to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And are they on the other side of the mountain?
Look like it.
Really? Because that's fair. And there's two of them now. Couldn't the monks just peck their way out of the cage?
Or you can just use your comrades to distract them while you get in there with the carrier.
No, I think it says you have to clear them all out because it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't even let me attack the carrier until that point. But couldn't the monks just peck your way out of the cage? That would work. And oh my god, they're so far away.
Yeah. I'm on fire.
Yeah, everybody's on fire.
We're under fire.
Oh shit.
Really? I wouldn't have known. Who's firing the catapults? Or owls just sitting there firing them?
Either owls or bats. That's the bats are the expendable minions.
Yeah, true, and I would put the bats there just...
The owls are their soldiers, and the hag ravens are just there.
to do whatever they want.
To do whatever the top pure ones say. That's basically the guardians of the pure ones, or the hag ravens.
And you have to avoid all this shit while trying to get the coals to blow shit up.
Yeah.
And of course the only source of hot coals in this spot is through this tunnel. I mean, it's not... like, I've gotten the controls down packed, like, I'm fine with them. It's just, you know, trying to do everything. So is it kind of lazy that they just essentially made you Soren then, but
they should have just allowed you to play as Soren instead of giving you your own out, but I do understand.
Even though it is Soren's story, though.
It is Soren's story, but I don't, you know... I guess they wanted you to make you a part of the story. Like, you're now helping, you're fighting alongside Soren.
That's kind of what they do.
But I feel like this would have been better if you were just playing as Soren in the first place, because that's what you are, because the character selection, you're basically Soren's gang of friends that he meets.
Oh.
Great Horned Owl, which is the old one that you meet rescuing him from the mines.
So, but from the character selection, though, they're all people who joined up with Soren.
Yeah.
So then why did we give them, in this game, the same backstory as Soren?
I don't know. basically playing
Love the smell.
Sort of.
That's what it said. Even though you're not Soren because you're someone else.
Yeah.
And if we just met the sister, you said that happens in book 4, but the final battle should be at the end of the series. So
I have no idea.
we're jumping all over the place. And I mean, here's the thing: if you're not a hardcore fan of this series and only really know of the movie and the books, then realistically, is this?
It's okay.
I mean, it's not. It's not hurting you because it's taking liberties, but at least it's not,
It's just contradicting a lot of stuff that I was never reading.
Yeah.
Maybe they rewrote it.
Maybe
because they did kind of do that, but
they did.
I remember in the original books, I remember the baby born that he travels with ends up being his sister.
Yeah.
And not just, oh hey, I found this moon blinked owl who happened to be your sister. Maybe that did happen. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Yep, I called it earlier.
Yeah.
I actually called it earlier. He's the traitor.
And your father knew about it, but couldn't prove it. So
We were well acquainted.
Yeah.
Surprised? I thought with all of your snooping you would have guessed by now.
Yep.
So was Alamir the main villain in the books then?
He doesn't learn of it, but he does suspect that it was an inside job.
They will have a terrible effect on you if you get too close.
Oh, so in what you've read though, you never discovered who the true villain was?
Yeah, but my suspicion it was the wise owl.
Alamir.
Because he was gone for a long time to see if, because when Soren got to the tree, Alamir had left on that mission to prove if Soren was correct or not. He was gone for a long time. And at that point, they were arguing whether or not to train Soren as a guardian or not.
I didn't think he'd be capable.
So when he finally discovers that the other barn owl that he was with the whole time was his sister, they thought that would be the distraction.
Oh.
For him,
All the flight pillars are destroyed.
I haven't read if Soren actually, confronted him or not on it. But none of the Guardians believed Soren that it was an inside job.
Kind of like how with this game.
Yeah. Soren had, when Soren first got to Drake, he told them, he overheard people at the prison saying,
it was an inside job.
It was a Guardian had told him that. Was the one that was, going after the Fleck and all this shit.
Will depend heavily on your success.
They have a forge too.
Yeah, that's where they make, as I said, the Fleck armor.
How are they? Why do I even question it still?
Owl blacksmiths.
That makes no sense.
Owls can be blacksmiths.
No, yeah. How are they gonna hold the hammer?
But they have little claws.
Oh my god, it's so fast. They can just hold the thing with their claws and just
They use giant tree trunks as, hammers and stuff.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
For the owls.
Like I said, I'm gonna quit trying to question this, because there's no...
Would you like the owl to be dragonborn? Would that make more sense?
No, it wouldn't. That would actually make it worse. That would actually make it a hell of a lot worse if the owl was a dragonborn, too.
He uses shouts.
Yeah, and then... Hell, why don't we just combine the owl with the dragon?
There you go, owl dragon.
There you go, makes perfect sense. Or the owls can ride into battle on dragons.
In Dungeons & Dragons, there is a species that is half owl and half dragon.
Why wouldn't there be?
I forget what they're called, but that wasn't big.
Why wouldn't there be? Hell, why don't we just have them riding into battle on the dragons?
I got the book, the guide on dragons.
It's a centaur dragon, I guess?
It's got, the front of a dragon with no wings, and it's got the from the back end of a horse.
Yeah, so kind of like a centaur.
Yeah.
Except the top half's a dragon.
Top half's a dragon, the rest of it's a horse.
So, dragon centaur. That actually makes sense. Because, hey, centaurs are a thing, so...
They have one that the front's half of an owl, and the other half is the back of a dragon.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Shit, why not? Hey, in Gauntlet, there was the Chimera, which had, parts from 3 different animals. So,
Chimera's cool.
what was it different than your traditional Chimera? I believe that's just what they called it in that game. But no, basically we're just going to combine everything into like a Super Minotaur. Or Super Centaur, excuse me. There's a difference between the two. Minotaurs are just one thing, but they are brutal.
Yeah.
It's the Guardian of the Labyrinth for a reason. I don't remember if it was the Guardian in the Labyrinth and Percy Jackson, because they did have to do that. And of course they met the freaking, they met the creator of it, because why would you create this? And then from what I remember, I think being kept in the prison was actually, like, for some reason was the father of Icarus.
Huh.
I think he had gone mad from his son's death. You know, because Icarus flew too close to the sun.
Goddamn.
Well, that is how it goes. He made the wings out of wax and I forget what else for his son. And he told Icarus, don't fly too close. That's the one thing I like. That's definitely one thing I like about the God of War games, is they have all this in there. And I think you can actually get the wings of Icarus in there too, which is funny. I don't know how you get them, but you do get them.
As I said, they were getting the baby owls for food, so they don't really have to go get food. So.
Even though aren't they the ones who go capture the baby owls to begin with?
As I said, as a deal for deal with the wise owl. If they go get the babies for him, he basically gives them, you know,
even though
their own allotment of food by eating off the weak and the sick ones.
If they were smart, they would just get their own food.
Well, to the bats, it was a deal because they don't have to go get their food now.
Even though they're still the ones fetching the baby owls.
So they fetch them so they get fed.
They
don't have to go get their own fucking food.
But don't they get fed with the baby owls that they bring back? Oh, the pure ones actually feed them with actual stuff.
Oh.
No, because the way you're...
Hey, basically, they made the deal with the bats. If the bats help, you know, this fucking power-hungry owl go steal baby owlets from their nest so he can brainwash them. At least brainwash the ones that he wants. It's the soldiers.
There it is.
The Pure Ones have been weakened, but Alamir, however, will not surrender peace.
I need to find a way to destroy the furnaces. There should be hot coals here somewhere. Just what I needed.
How dare you try and stop us?
I won't get far if I don't eliminate these furnaces first. I need to find a way to destroy the furnaces. There should be hot coals here somewhere. Last one. This should do it. The forge is collapsing. I've got to get out of here.
You will not escape from here. That was nothing. How dare you even touch me, you insolent child! Is that the best you can do? Take this!
there. I can see the way out. Let's go exploring. I'm on my way. Only the strong will survive.